Hello guys, welcome to Cinema Ultimate. In this video, I will show you an action movie, Black Widow, 2021. The film is directed by Cate Shortland and starring Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, and more. This film tells about the life of Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, as a secret agent and assassin from the Red Room organization before she joined the Avengers. She faces a dark past with her younger sister while training as a spy in the Red Room in 1995. However, Natasha fled to Norway for violating the agreement. She was declared a fugitive by the United States Secretary of State. And she is hunted down by Dreykov, a conspirator who heads the Red Room. Natasha has to face her dark past and is forced to interact with people from the past. What's next? Here's a movie recap: Black Widow, 2021. The film began with a scene in 1995 when Natasha Romanoff and Yelena Belova were little. They were taken away by their parents to move to a safer place. Their parents are Alexei Shostakov, a Russian secret agent, and Melina Vostokov, a former Black Widow. They plan to board an aircraft that has been prepared by their father, Alexei. And Alexei tries to fly his plane so they can escape somewhere. He asked his family to get on his plane to get out of there quickly. However, suddenly a group of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents came and chased them. Alexei tried to shoot them, so he had to run toward his plane. Meanwhile, Melina, who was about to pilot the aircraft, was suddenly hit by a shot in the base of her arm. And finally, Natasha took control of the plane. With the skills of an amateur and encouragement from her mother, Natasha managed to fly their plane. Then his father jumped onto the wing of the plane so that they were ready to leave the place. Moments later, they arrived in Cuba and were greeted by some of the airborne troops there. Meanwhile, Melina was immediately rushed to the medical staff. After that, Alexei unexpectedly hands over his daughters to Dreykov to train as a spy in the Red Room. The two girls were brought into a container car after being injected with an anesthetic. The scene moves to 21 years later, in 2016, after the battle between the Avengers at the airport. Natasha looks wanted by the United States government for violating the Sokovia Accords agreement. She fled to Norway because he was being hunted by several men by the United States Secretary of State, Thaddeus Ross. Knowing this, she hurried away from the place quietly. She plans to go to a safe house in Norway. Arriving at the safe house in Norway, she is reunited with Nick Mason. Meanwhile, Yelena is still working in the Red Room, where she is assigned to kill the former Black Widow, Oksana. In the Red Room, Yelena works beyond her consciousness. However, Oksana was successfully resuscitated using the red serum she was carrying. Yelena immediately realized and was very sorry for the incident. Before she died, Oksana gave the bag of red serums to Yelena and told her to save all the Black Widow from the influence of the Red Room. Yelena immediately left from there and pulled out the chip implanted in her body. She ignored calls from other Black Widow. Then she fled with the red serums. After that, she is declared a traitor by Dreykov, the head of the Red Room. And Dreykov sent Taskmaster to look for her. Then she secretly tried to send the red serums to Natasha's safe house. She hoped that Natasha would come back to help her. However, when Natasha leaves with the bag of red serums, suddenly she is attacked by Taskmaster, who is activated to take the red serums. A fight breaks out between them, and Taskmaster attempts to defeat Natasha. However, Natasha manages to evade Taskmaster until finally, she finds out that the red serums are from Yelena. The next day Natasha went to Budapest to find an address on the red serums paper. She went to the address of Yelena's safe house. Arriving at Yelena's safe house, Yelena was seen waiting for her. However, their meeting started with a fight. They fight until her curtain almost suffocates Yelena, which Natasha uses against her. After a lot of arguing, they finally decided to work together. However, suddenly a woman came and attacked them. They worked together to defeat the woman until they escaped from there. After that, they continued the conversation. And then Natasha learns that the Red Room is still active, and its leader Dreykov is still alive. Eventually, they decide on a mission to kill Dreykov and free all of the Black Widow. First, Natasha and Yelena free Alexei from prison to find out where Dreykov is. Then they go by helicopter to the prison, where Alexei is being held. Natasha attacks the prison guards and gets Alexei out of jail. They quickly got Alexei into their helicopter. After successfully getting Alexei out of prison, he advised them to talk to Melina. It turns out that Melina lives on a farm, where she exercises mind control on pigs. Once there, Yelena reveals that they are not real family. But, she still wanted to treat them like a real family. Likewise, Alexei admits that he also wishes they were a real family. Not long after, the Red Room troops came to Melina's safe house. It turns out that Melina gave their location to Dreykov so that Dreykov's men could find them. They were captured and taken to the Red Room located at the airbase. And then Natasha came there wearing a mask and disguised as Melina to meet Dreykov. However, Dreykov managed to recognize her. Meanwhile, Melina, disguised as Natasha, is locked up in an isolation room. And Alexei, who is also locked up beside Melina's isolation room. When things calmed down, Melina managed to open her isolation room and Alexei's isolation room. Then she called Yelena, who was on the operating table. Because of Melina's direction, Yelena managed to escape from the room. Then Yelena is assigned to find a red serum that the Red Room has stolen. On the other hand, in Dreykov's room, Natasha tries to distract him. However, he reveals that his daughter, Antonia, is still alive. She was the taskmaster who worked with him after the incident in the past. Antonia's head was so severely damaged that Dreykov was forced to put a chip in her head to help her. The chip helps Antonia to stay alive, and she is trained to become a perfect warrior. Hearing this, Natasha was furious, then pointed her gun straight at Dreykov's face. But she can't kill Dreykov because her nerves have been locked by Dreykov, who he puts in all of the Black Widows. If they smelled the hormones emanating from his body, they wouldn't be able to harm him or kill him. Therefore, Dreykov can easily control all Black Widows worldwide through his work desk. Since Natasha couldn't hurt Dreykov, she provoked Dreykov to punch her face. Sure enough, it happened. When Natasha provoked Dreykov, he was furious. Dreykov immediately hit Natasha in the face several times until she fell. Plus, she deliberately banged her face against Dreykov's desk to damage her olfactory nerves. After Natasha successfully unlocks her olfactory nerves, she immediately beats Dreykov in front of her. Dreykov fell from his work chair, but he could press a nearby emergency button when he was hit. Therefore, all the Black Widows there came and attacked Natasha. A fight ensued between them. Moments later, Yelena went into the room, which coincided with the explosion of the Red Serum's bomb. All the Black Widows immediately realized from the influence of the Red Room. They managed to get back to being themselves. However, Dreykov managed to escape from there. Natasha tries to hack the control panel and free all the Black Widow worldwide. Just as the place was about to explode, she finished her act and rushed out of the room. And when the fire started, Natasha made it out just before the room was completely burned down. Meanwhile, Melina has managed to board the emergency plane and join her husband. They tried to find their daughters, who were still in the Red Room area. It turns out Yelena is chasing Dreykov and his troops. They are trying to escape with Dreykov's plane. She ran from a distance and managed to land on the aircraft's wing. Yelena tries to blow up the plane. And finally, the plane exploded and killed Dreykov and his group. Yelena also bounced down. Seeing this, Natasha immediately jumped to attach a parachute to her sister. When the parachute was installed, suddenly Taskmaster came toward them from a distance. Natasha immediately let go of Yelena and fought against Taskmaster. The battle raged between them until they landed. Then the fight continued until Natasha managed to put the red serum in Antonia's body. And Antonia came back to her senses to be herself. Then Natasha looks for Yelena, who seems to have landed in the same place. It turns out Yelena was still unconscious due to being bounced off by the plane explosion. After Yelena woke up, Melina and Alexei approached them. They hugged each other. Then suddenly, Ross and the SWAT team came toward them. At first, they intended to face it together, but Natasha refused and chose to face it alone. She asked them to get out of there immediately and give the serum to be cloned as another Black Widow antidote. Before leaving, several Black Widows came to Yelena. They came to join forces and save several other Black Widows worldwide. Yelena tried to invite Natasha, but she refused. Then they went and took Antonia with them. Meanwhile, Natasha faces Ross and the SWAT team. 2 weeks later, Natasha goes to meet Mason with her new hair. Then Mason took her to a clearing where he parked his private jet, which was to be given to Natasha. Natasha was very impressed with the gift from her friend. She immediately drove the aircraft to save the Avengers, who were being held captive somewhere. In the post-credit scene, an incident is told after Natasha's death. Yelena met with Valentina Allegra, who suddenly instigated her to kill the person who allegedly killed her sister, Hawkeye, aka Clint Barton. And the movie is over. Okay guys. If you like our channel, support us with subscribe and turn on the bell, like, comment, and share. So that you don't miss our next video and our channel can grow even more. See you guys.